Welcome to the Books and Martinis Podcast.
I'm Priya.
And I'm Mercy.
And this is your go-to book podcast,
where we lift, empower, and spotlight authors.
Grab your martini and follow along.
And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to our podcast. I'm Priya.
And I'm Mercy. Welcome, everybody. And
cheers.
Welcome, Lainey. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers,
cheers. Cheers.
We got.
Drink a little or it's bad luck, right?
Yeah, drink a little bit for good luck. Well, guys, we have an amazing author with us today. Her name is Lainey Davis. She is the author of Forging Glory. Where's your book, Mercy?
Right here.
So Mercy has the sexy cover.
Yeah,
I got the cover with the ball.
You get what you get. Yours is gorgeous, and you're the first one to have that cover.
Yes. I feel so honored and excited.
It's beautiful. I love the colors. I would totally swap with you.
Well, I like the naked guy too.
I was just interviewed in the Pittsburgh City paper about what I'm calling the Great Nipple Purge, because men on covers are out right now, and I've been having trouble stocking them at Barnes and Noble. So I'm trying flowers and balls.
That sounds so funny, flowers and balls. But a lot of books do have flowers. A lot of books nowadays, you do see them have flowers. Mm-hmm. So Lainey, welcome. Thank you for being our guest today. I'm going to kick it off by reading a little bit about yourself before we get into the interview, guys. So Lainey Davis is a USA Today best-selling author that lives in Pittsburgh with 3 feral sons. I love that. 2 rescued rabbits and 1 tired husband. Oh no. She writes steamy contemporary love stories with grouchy heroes, strong heroines, and plenty of fiascos. She's excited to find out how much coffee. It's too much. There's never too much coffee, Lainey. Never.
I get real twitchy after 4.
Oh, I hear you.
Yeah, I could see that.
So, Forging Glory. Basically, this is a summary, guys. My only dream was going pro, until she blazed back into my life. I love that. Cara Moreno, my biggest regret, just signed with the women's soccer team in my city. I tell myself to keep my distance, but I can't stay away. And he really can't. Wes is such a puppy dog. She says the most powerful man in the sport is set on destroying her career. That behind closed doors, he's hurting her and everything she's worked for. I doubted her once before and rejected her. Now I'll do anything to make things right and protect what's ours. Exposing the truth means risking my career, but how can I chase my dreams knowing hers are slipping away? With both our futures on the line, I'm ready to risk it all and expose the truth. Losing her once was devastating enough. I won't let her down a second time. What we share is electric, and protecting her feels worth any sacrifice. This time, I'll fight for her trust and hopefully her heart. Aww. Wes. Wes is such a sweetheart.
It sounds so good when you read it.
Oh, thank you.
Sounds really good. I love the animation. I love it. So, Lainey, let me start with saying thank you for the book. I realized my entire confusion with the book was that I actually won the book. And I'll share with you the note that came inside of my book. So it says, "Dear Mercy, thank you so much for participating in Erotically Neurotics Season 1 giveaway." So thank you to Exotically Neurotics. Okay. "We love connecting with other women who are just as unhinged as we are when it comes to their love for smutty books. Stay tuned for Season 2 of Erotically Neurotic and enjoy your sexy book. Hugs and kisses from Kayla and Amanda." So that's where my disconnect came. I'm like, wait, I didn't get anything directly from Lainey, and it's because I won it.
Yeah.
And then once I won it and I fell in love with it, I reached out to you. And that's the whole connection.
Oh, okay.
So
Kayla and Amanda's podcast is hilarious.
okay, well, there you go. So it was one podcast to another, full circle.
Yay! Shout out Kayla and Amanda.
Yeah, so thank you, girls. Thank you. And yes, I have your book. And before we even go into asking you 1,000 questions, which we have for you, I have to say, I thought it was so cool dad, Lou Rubio, especially, was the president for the Soccer USA because my son-in-law is actually a national referee for
Ooh.
for Soccer USA. Yeah, so he's a national referee, and it was really cool. I saw the whole connection. It's my middle daughter's soon-to-be husband,
Okay.
and it's just the whole soccer thing, the referee, the USA platform, and the whole thing like came full circle to me. So I thought that was really exciting and fun. So with saying all of that and knowing all of these cool facts, tell us about yourself.
Well, I am obsessed with soccer.
Are you?
Yeah, so I live in Pittsburgh and I set all my books here because I just love this city. I love that it's gritty and there's so much to do. And I started playing soccer the year I turned 40.
Okay.
I needed a change.
Whoa,
I
that's pretty
was
awesome.
Yeah, I was quarantined in my house with all these sons. And then there's a over 30 women's league here in Pittsburgh, and it's just the greatest bunch of women. So I became even more obsessed with soccer, and I that's what I do with all my free time. We go to the professional games. So our men's team here is called the Riverhounds, and we're just getting a women's team this year. They're named the Riveters. So of course I'm a season ticket holder.
Nice.
So maybe I'll see your son-in-law out there rep it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to definitely share with you his page so you can
Okay.
follow him. It's really cool.
And his
But
name
yeah,
is
he's a
Kyle.
national ref. His
Yeah.
name is Kyle. Yes, he's Brazilian.
Okay.
And I think that, yeah, it'll be a great connection for you. And who knows, because he travels all around the United States with games, reffing them. So if he's ever in your neck of the woods, that would be really cool. But this is his page.
Oh, okay.
And I'll share it with you.
I would love that.
Yeah. So that's fantastic. And so you have three sons, you just mentioned, and
Mhm.
their ages are 10, 12, and 15.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I remember having an elementary, a middle school, and a high school. I have three girls, and at
Yeah.
one point I had each one in a different school, and that was my most challenging year. I felt by the time I dropped off the one that started latest, the one that had originally started was getting ready
Yes,
to be picked up
exactly. Yeah, there's only like 4 hours in between.
in between. Yeah, that's crazy. And tell us more. So I know that aside from this book, from Forging Glory, which I have another question about it,
Okay.
you have a lot of Hispanic in here. I noticed that because you dedicate your book to Jenny Hermoso, being the last name, and then you have a hashtag Contigo Jenny. So I also know that you have Lou Rubio and that Cara's last name is Moreno. So there's a lot of Hispanic influence
Influence.
here.
Hmm.
So tell me where that influence comes from.
Well, so as a soccer obsessed person, I had the opportunity to go to the Women's World Cup in 2020.
Okay.
So
Wow.
it was my husband and it was our first time away from the kids, like
Okay.
ever, because when COVID started, they were little, it was just a whole thing. So we really went as far away from them as it's possible to go. And the World Cup was this incredible experience, like
I'm
tens of thousands
sure.
of people in these massive stadiums cheering for women. Um, and I remember watching the final and Spain won. And, I'm up in my feels and I'm watching these women be like hugged. And I thought it was weird. I remember saying to my husband, like, why is he hugging each of them? Does he know them? And then Jenny Hermoso was kissed against her will on
I
international
remember that.
Oh,
television. And
yeah.
it was
Now it
so
makes
Mhm.
sense.
gross.
Okay.
It
I
was
remember
so
that.
gross. I couldn't sleep at night. Like I had a whole other publishing plan for the
Hmm.
following year, and that moment just wouldn't leave me. And especially as things were unfolding in the press afterwards. And I knew that I had set up the Stag Brothers
Mhm.
years ago. That was my most popular series. And I knew I always kind of wanted to do a next generation for them. And since I couldn't sleep without, I knew I needed to write a book about, with that aspect of the plot. So the heroine is Hispanic because Jenny Hermoso is Hispanic. And I just kept thinking about what would it be like to be dating somebody who has that happen to them. So I had this family that needed a relationship for the next generation, and then I had this heroine in mind who I needed to create a story around. So that was a wonderful experience for me. I did so much research and I got to speak with some Cuban American authenticity readers. I ended up making her Cuban. I don't really have a reason why that culture over another one, but once that occurred to me, that was just how Cara became fully formed. So yeah, and then the audiobook, the narrator is Cuban American.
Oh, I
And
love that. Oh,
yeah, the prequel for that book, Forging Passion, is up for a Sultry Listener Award, and
what?
the female
Ooh.
narrator Janine is nominated for favorite narrator. So it's been a real joy. Just it's been a total joy to work through that.
Wow, wow. So, our next question was what
Wow.
inspired this book, but you just
Hmm.
told us.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, so I know that there's so many layers to Forging Glory. We have sort of like the Me Too situation that you have with Cara, sort of what happened with the athlete at the World Cup. And then we have the family dynamic between the two families and what both athletes, both Cara and West, are dealing with. And then we have their romance and we have the spice and the fun and the playfulness that they have, like when they're together and with their friends and even like the sisterhood that Cara experiences being on the team. There's so many layers to this book and it's so beautifully written. Tell us more about the process. Like as an author sitting down, like what did you do to craft the story?
Well, first of all, most of my books have a real sense of family, either found family or just a really strong family network. That's true of all of my books. And when I am starting a new book, I take each of the characters and I start with their wound usually, like what happened to them. So that was easy with Cara. And the problem with a second generation series from a beloved series is that you've already set these people up to have amazing parents. So I knew Wesley had this fantastic life with this loving family. Like, what could be wrong with him? So I had to work really carefully to just to think about what would create some tension on the page because he's a good guy. He's a green flag hero, but he's had some injuries. I always wanted him and Kara to just immediately click, but then outside circumstances make them think they can't have a relationship. So
Yeah, yeah. And then him seeing what happened to Kara at the elevator,
yeah,
and then just misunderstanding the whole situation and not even bothering to ask her. And I
right,
kind of feel like that happens a couple times during the book where he just completely misunderstands. So even though he's a green flag, he's still just human being, trying to figure things
Right.
out and he's not communicating when he
Sure.
should,
right.
you
The
know.
egos get in the way.
Exactly. The ego
He
gets in the
does have a
way.
little bit of an ego, but he's a soccer star.
Sure.
He's
Sure.
used to people telling him how great he is.
And your characters all seem amazing. However, if you had to choose your favorite character, would you say that Kara is your favorite character or would it be Wes?
Oh
Or
boy.
anybody else.
Yeah, tough one. I just finished writing Odin's book, the third one in that series. These guys they're cousins and roommates, and they've just all been extremely close. And I really like Odin Stagg. He has been
Okay.
knocking around inside my head ever since I let Kara and Wes out. So
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Good to
And we
know.
know Wyatt's in between. So there's Wes and Kara, the prequel, Wes and Kara. I'm reading it off from the book, guys. And then Wyatt and Fern, and then Odin and Tora. Tora, am I saying it right?
I don't even know.
I
Sid
love
just
that.
wrote it.
And then playing for keeps, you have Gunner and dot dot dot.
Hmm.
Oh, that's
Guess we wait and find
interesting.
out.
So Odin's your favorite character in the
Right
book.
now.
Oh, right now. But when you
Right
were
now.
writing Cara's story, who was your favorite character then?
Boy, I mean, I was very deep in the news surrounding it, and I'm so involved in women's sports. So I have to go with Cara just because, while all that was unraveling, we were getting pro women's soccer here in Pittsburgh, and it's such an amazing and fragile time for pro women's sports. Like the whole Spanish national team, the women were had to overcome so much, even at the
Hmm.
World Cup with a coach who was under investigation prior to all of that, and they had to still go
Mm.
and play with him. So I, yeah, Cara. I have to
So
pick the
she's who
woman.
kept you awake
Yeah.
at night,
Mhm.
getting ready for this book and the story to be shared. And when you're writing, like when you were going through the whole process and writing your entire story, if you had to go back and think about advice you'd give a writer, what advice would you share with a writer?
Yeah, my writing process changed a lot in between this book and what I'm doing now. And I think this book came very quickly for me. And it was really a very interesting moment because I was going to do a series of rom-coms, and I was like, wait a minute, I have to go back and do this more serious story. And so I think I would tell writers to listen to that voice inside of you. If I had just tried to struggle through the rom-com and have this story's waiting its turn, I think things would have boiled over. I don't even know, but my advice is definitely listen to that voice inside of you that about what you should be writing.
Oh, I love
Okay,
that. Yeah,
that's really
and I have to admit, this is the first sports romance I've ever read.
Oh,
Read.
really?
yeah.
Yeah, this is the first.
Same,
I actually have
same.
Pucking Around somewhere behind me right
Yeah, yeah.
here in my TBR, but I haven't picked it up yet because the book is so thick. But this is the first one, and I feel so honored that I'm like the first one to get this cover too. So, and it was
Yeah.
good. It was so good and so well written, and I love the underlying themes and the whole thing that Cara has to go through because you really have a very, very powerful message in this. Do you feel like all your books have I know this was sparked and inspired by what conspired at
The
the World
actual
Cup.
events.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but do all your books have underlying themes in them? You
Well,
think
I
about that when you're writing?
it is always important to me that the women in my books are fulfilled romantically, professionally, and interpersonally. Like I always make sure that that happens because that is the fantasy for me is
Mm-hmm.
to be valued and accepted. I mentioned I play soccer, and my women's team, we pay and we arrange for the permits for the field, and there's always men there trying to just like be playing pickup and kick us off this field we
Oh,
played for,
I
right?
hate
So
that.
my experience as a woman in the world is being shoved around a lot. And so it's always important to me that my books, the opposite of that is happening. That these women are really having a marvelous happily ever after.
You're their voice. I love that. I
Mhm.
love that. I love the inspiration behind it. Is there anything that you'd like to tell our listeners that are either present readers of your wonderful books or that you might have them pick up one of your books? Anything
Yeah, I
special
mean,
they should know?
I am really loving sports romance right now, and
Mhm.
there's so much excitement in sports romance that you can build in, and these guys are wealthy, so they're able to spread some of that wealth around for the heroines, and it just feels really delicious to write about,
Yes.
Wes arranging a very special meal for Cara, and Odin arranges a super fancy author experience for Thora and her favorite book author. And so just each of these guys is able to provide all kinds of fantasy, dreamy experiences for the women in the books.
Yeah.
Oh, I
So
love
you
that.
have so many books on your list. Like on the back of your book, I was so amazed. I was like, "Oh my God, this girl's
Yeah.
on a roll." There are so many books. Are they all sports romance? Are they different genres? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So most of my Stag Brothers books are either sports romance or sports adjacent. All the brothers either play professional sports or work in that realm. And so all the kids so far have been professional athletes as well. So I'm starting the fourth Stag Generations book, Playing for Keeps, but I'm breaking the kids' books into I'm breaking these guys' books into trilogies just so it's more accessible for people to enter that world. So this will be three of the brothers play hockey.
Oh, okay.
I'm entering my hockey era, even though one of the, I've done hockey before.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I've done football, I've done hockey, I've done soccer. I have rowing in my books. I've always been a sporty person, so I like to include sports in the books.
I love that. And I sort of like identified a little bit because I used to do sports too when I was younger. I did basketball, I powerlifted for a bit, I ran track. So reading some of it, and granted, this is the first time I'm reading a sports romance. I'm like, I've been missing out. Like, I identify so much with some of the things, even like going back and having to look at film, see how you perform.
Right.
Like little things like that, I identify so much with, and I really appreciated reading your books as someone in that field. And I'm assuming a lot of your readers are very into sports as well, sports romances, and that's why they gravitate towards your books. Would you ever try a different genre? Would you ever try something different?
I probably. So my plan after I finish all these Stag Kids, I'm going to do Pittsburgh River Rescue series because I'm also like real into these wetsuit guys that I see hauling boats.
You just want them wet.
And I'm interested in a firefighter series. I just really like there to be some element of tension and maybe danger is the wrong word, but thrill and excitement to go along with my romance.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's so exciting. I can't wait.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. And, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your book and the autograph.
You got an autograph? Wait.
I did.
Well, I'm so
autograph.
sorry, Priya, because yours didn't come to my house first.
But I did get the first one. So
You're the only one with it.
If you ever do a signing close to New York City, or if I'm ever in that area of yours and you're doing a book signing, I'm bringing this with me.
Absolutely.
And you're going to put first copy.
That's right.
Yeah, so Priya has literally the first copy in the whole world with that new non-nipple cover. And
let me cover. I'm covering him.
Yeah, Mercy's got the naughty nipples.
Naughty nipples.
I'll take it.
You should do a naughty nipples series.
Oh, Priya. Oh, Priya.
All right. Well,
thank you, Lainey.
It's been such a joy having you as our guest today. Your book is brilliant. Everyone listening and watching, make sure you check out her series, her Stag Brothers series, Forging Glory. I know she has a bunch of other series in her long list of books that she's written. She's an amazing author, you guys. Follow her and check her out on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle, Lainey?
It's author Lainey Davis.
Perfect. And we'll put all
the
information.
We'll also have it here.
Yes, we'll also have all the information in the summary below. Like, share, follow, subscribe, all that great stuff. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lainey. Thank you.
Bye, guys.